What's good, everybody? It's your boy Joe B1, the last Jedi of hip-hop and Black Series enthusiast and collector. Guys, I'm here to talk about something a little bit different than usual today, and that is why I believe that when done responsibly, that collecting can be beneficial for your mental health. So, you guys stay tuned. We're going to talk about something a little bit different today, all right? Now, guys, real quick, I know what a lot of people are going to say. Well, Joe, man, collecting can turn into something irresponsible really fast. You can start buying, and next thing you know, you're like, what the heck, I've got 200 figures, I just started doing this thing a week ago, you know. And that's what I mean by responsibly, is going into it like with some kind of guidelines in front of just going out and buying figures, okay? So you know, it's real easy to fall for the hype, and it's very important to like manage some of that within yourself, okay? So we'll just start there real quick, that way we can get that part out of the way. So for a lot of people that are collecting, man, it really has to do with touching on like nostalgic pieces of their childhood, okay? And which I understand that, man. I'm totally into that, and I get that, man. It does the same thing for me, right? But there's another side of that, right, man? So coming up as a kid, we didn't have a lot, next to nothing, man. My parents ran a homeless shelter. We took care of up to about 150 homeless men, women, and kids. And my dad was making multiple meals a day and helping with my mom, also helping with training, like job training, or helping them get resources for medical help and such like that, right? So we came up not really having a lot, like basically having nothing. We were giving away everything that we got, because everything that we got came from donations that came into the shelter, okay? So just a little bit of backstory, and that influences a little bit about why I collect, all right? So we're gonna get into that. So as I've gotten more and more into adulthood, I've kind of realized that there's elements of my childhood that I kind of put to sleep as a child, right? To protect myself, I think, maybe from the trauma of not getting to experience life in the same way a lot of my peers at school were, okay? So I put the idea of being a kid kind of in the background of my mind, and I grew up at a very young age. Believe it or not, you're not going to, you probably won't believe this, but by the time I was 18 months old, okay, I was very sharp and aware about what was going on in the world, even at that young age. And there's a famous story in my family. By the time I was 18 years old, I was able to put letters and words together and read, shocking my mom and my dad and everybody else in the process. They thought I was going to be a child prodigy. Turned out, you know, a little bit different. I make a lot of music, and you know what I'm saying, I'm a bit quirky. I'm smart in my own way, you know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. So I've gotten this opportunity as an adult now to kind of re-explore some of those things that I may have missed out on as a kid. And you know, in a weird way, man, it's healing, because it's like I'm touching on things that back then that I had tucked away, man, and things that not just that I missed out on and made to feel different about, but also just the experience of being a kid. You know, and shout out to my parents. I mean, they did a wonderful job raising us, and then my step parents, you know, did a wonderful job of accepting us and stuff. So that isn't to take anything away from, excuse me, I started coughing there for a second. That isn't to take anything away from what my parents did, you know. It just was the circumstances. They did the best with what they had, and they also taught us a very early example of like caring for others as we get older and as we have things, you know. So I don't hold that against them, you know. It just isn't my experience. But getting to this point in my age now, you know, I'm 39. I'll be 40 coming up soon. And I've only been collecting again for probably about 4 to 5 years. So right about the halfway point of the Black Series is about how long I've been in the game. And when you see stuff like this, you know, and I played this game, you know, like crazy, which oddly enough had to buy it myself on clearance. But I played this game, and so whenever this figure got announced, I was like, oh my God. And getting it, it's weird. It's like, you know, the adult side of my brain isn't you know, it's engaged, you know what I'm saying? But I look at this in a different way. It's almost like I'm approaching it like the inner child in me is kind of receiving some healing that it didn't get, you know, growing up. So there's that element of it, and that's what I'm talking about. When I say collecting responsibly can be a benefit on your mental health, you know, just interjecting that little bit of something that maybe from your childhood that you either missed out on, or that life was just kind of different for you growing up, being able to get something simple like this can just inject this that much joy and remind you of like simpler times, and also remind you about how much of yourself to really take seriously, right? Because it's hard to, like, you know, be like super hardcore and gangster or something when like half your personality is collecting cool stuff like this, right? So, but anyways, also fellow collectors, I hope you don't mind me flexing my Star Killer. I'm just so hyped to be able to pick that guy up. And I don't want to continue on too much, you know, and draw this out. So I think you guys get the point. But whenever I think about this subject, you know, there's a lot of folks online that are also adults who take the bully route, like, you know, trying to clown on people like me who want to collect. That probably doesn't happen in my inbox as much. I'm a pretty established local hip-hop artist. You know, I just started integrating my collecting hobby into like what I'm doing with the music, which has been super cool, super freeing, right? It's made me feel like very good and very in my own shoes, if that makes sense, and like I'm occupying myself, as opposed to, like, you know, I'm living these 2 or 3 separate kind of mental lives. Nah, man, you know what? I'm a rapper, hip-hop artist. I've been doing that for 20-something years. I'm a collector of many things over the years, but this has been my favorite thing to collect in my lifetime. It's so cool, man. And just kind of allows you to kind of have a physical piece of like this universe that we all love so much as Star Wars fans. And it's just neat, man, how detailed and stuff some of this stuff has gotten. So I remember the figures when I was a kid, man. They were nothing like this, man. They were nothing like that. But yeah, so I bring this up because, and I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but I bring this up because I know that there are people out there who want to try and use this as like a way to create a meme about a group of people who are just trying to enjoy something, which is wild. That is wild, man. So for all the folks that have hit my inbox, all the folks that have been talking noise and trying to make me feel dumb, it's only been a few, but the ones that have, guys, you don't have no effect on me, fam. Not even in the least. I enjoy doing this so much that what you have to say seems crazy, and I feel like you're the one missing out. Not like I'm weird or that I stand up. No, I feel like you're missing. There must be a piece of something from your childhood that you feel like you're missing out on in order for you to come at the hip-hop Jedi with some crazy stuff, right? And I know if you're writing me that people like those folks are also writing other collectors and trying to be sideways or funny about it. And so to my fellow collectors out there, man, just enjoy it, man, and enjoy it responsibly. You know, don't let it become like a complete obsession where like you're like not really sure how you're gonna even make it in life or whatever, because you gotta make sure you can. Now you reach that point, man, then you know that it's time to like take a break, step away, put it down, whatever the case may be. But if you're carrying yourself responsibly, you're enjoying this hobby, you're buying the things you like and you're enjoying them, then really what anybody else has to say is null and void. It really doesn't matter. So you can let them say that. You can let them have whatever sounding board they want. But at the end of the day, they have let a Star Wars collector in some way or another entertain their day. They watched your video, they saw your pictures, they saw your post, and then they responded and clicked on it and all that stuff. So clearly you're touching on something that they might have to deal with, you know what I'm saying? So to my fellow collectors, guys, hang in there, man. Keep on doing what you love. Do it responsibly. And show me all those really cool figures that you get, man. Drop them in my group on Facebook, the Hip Hop Jedi. Come mess with me over here on any of my channels, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or TikTok. I know y'all see me on Facebook the most, but I'm starting to expand that out, okay? So y'all stick with me on that. Remember to put your own personal mental health at the forefront, man, even above other people's opinions and above sometimes maybe the self-negative talk that you might run into. Don't let that become the ruling factor of your life. Enjoy this stuff, man. We get one ticket. And there's just one more thing I want to cover before we go. And this is the more serious part of the conversation, guys. I just wanted to say something to you, directly to you. Any of you who might be struggling or going through something in life, you're getting thrown all sorts of stuff from all sorts of directions, whether it's mentally, emotionally, financially, physically, whatever the case may be. You just feel like it's coming at you from all sides. I just want to tell you something, man. The boy JoBeWY, I'm here for you. All right, I might not always have the right words of advice. I might not always know what's going on in your particular situation, but just know that your boy is here for you. I literally make music for people struggling, going through the day-to-day struggles, and I completely understand. I mean, even to this day, man, on a regular basis, I find myself occasionally feeling like I'm drowning, you know what I mean, and like I'm just grasping. But at the end of the day, I also find that there are people out there that kind of make the difference in how I'm going forward throughout my day. And it also kind of, it's strange, man, like when I'm going through something, I find that if I'm able to actually go out there and do something for somebody else, make a difference in somebody else's life, that a difference happens in my life. Like I find myself going, man, either being more grateful about what's going on or being more thoughtful about what's going on, and it re-energizes and refocuses me in terms of like my purpose, you know. And I believe that all of our purpose, my fellow collectors out there, people out there that have these YouTube channels and these platforms, whether it be 5,000 or 200 or 100,000 subscribers or whatever the case, it goes beyond just influencing people and dealing with toys and all that stuff, music or whatever the thing is that we may be broadcasting about or creating these channels for. There should be an element of what can I do to make a difference as well. And folks will say, Joe, what are you talking about? It's a business. I'm monetizing my channel. I'm trying to, man, I get all that. I get all that. I do. But here you are with this stage and this platform and this opportunity to really reach out to people. And that's the challenge. That's the challenge. So, one last time, guys, show love. Help people just like us feel accepted. This is a community, you know what I mean? Us collectors, us fans of all these different franchises, not just Star Wars. We're like a community, you know? And at the end of the day, man, we should really be doing what we can to pick each other up during those hard times. And remember to be there for each other in whatever way we can. So, again, it's your boy JoBeWY, the last Jedi of hip-hop and Black Series enthusiast / collector. And I just want to say much love, and may the Force be with you. I'm out.